Today I'll be looking at the post, "What turns you away from a new game?" by the user, just this dude, you know? Just curious as to what thing or things in a game that make you go, ew, no, and set it back down. Honestly, I think my only thing is that I don't really like 2d6 systems, powered by the apocalypse, forged in the dark, that kind of stuff. But like beyond that, I don't think I have anything that really always turns me off from a game. Most of what I dislike usually comes from the creators of said game. Like, I don't like Wizards of the Coast, so I don't buy their products and that kind of stuff. I mean, of course, there's things like Fatal and Horoa, which speak for themselves, so I'm not really interested in D&D and its derivatives, clones, retro clones, spin-offs, and whatever. Nothing turns me off of a game faster than classes, plus levels, plus d20s, plus kitchen sink fantasy. I've played it before in a variety of incarnations, and I'm basically done with it. I get this in the sense where, like, I play D&D 5e, so I don't really need a clone of that game. If there's another game that's trying to do the same sort of heroic fantasy that D&D is trying to do, I'm probably not going to want it as much, because I already have a system that kind of fulfills that loose idea. But if it's for another archetype of setting, then I'd probably still be interested. I came to the same conclusion way back in the 90s when I heard people playing the D20 Saga Star Wars RPG at a convention, and one of them asked the GM if they could play their third level Wookiee. It just hit me all of a sudden how dumb that sounded, and instantly I understood why I'd always preferred other games to D&D. Okay, in that case, to be fair, Wookiee would make more sense as, like, I'm not too familiar with Star Wars, but like, Wookiee would make more sense as a race, right? And then you'd have a different, like, sort of occupation as a class. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm open to mechanically interesting takes on D&D, but turned off immediately by games that uncritically import D&D's mechanical assumptions. In particular, nothing makes me close a book faster than seeing it's using a direct copy of D&D's 6 attributes, because they're a weird agglomeration that doesn't even fit D&D very well, and wisdom in particular is a poorly defined grab bag no one can agree on. I feel you would need to look further into the RPG than just seeing those 6 stats. Like, I mean, if they define them well and it's still different, I don't see what the problem is. I think it's still a good, like, baseline. And even worse, when using the 6 stats with 10 as neutral and needing a formula to transform them to modifiers. I mean, numbers not getting too big, I think is good, so like 10 as neutral makes sense to me. Also, wouldn't needing a formula to transform the numbers be better? Because I know in old D&D, you had to like look up all of that on like the different tables and stuff, and then like sometimes it would be different across classes with your attack modifier. I think the formula is just better because then you don't have to reference the book all the time just to know what your modifiers are. There's this other game I have called Shadow of the Demon Lord that uses 4 attributes. It's still a formula. You just subtract 10 from your ability score, and then that's your bonus. And like, that's so much easier than looking it up in the book or just remembering out what stat threshold you get the new modifier at. So like, isn't that better? Okay, well that should be enough of that. This is the top comment chain. I'm gonna skip anything else that has to do with D&D because I think we all know and have heard of it. It's boring. I'm tired. Custom dice. If your game needs special dice that only work for your game, I'm out. Okay, I forgot about this. So true. Preach. What is it, Genesis systems? Or like Fantasy Flight games maybe, where you need their custom dice to play their games, and then after they stop production, it's really hard to get your hands on them, at least official ones. So it's just like, I guess I'm not playing, even if I wanted to. Primary activity. I've been gaming since before most people in the subreddit were born. Okay, maybe true, but alright. I enjoy killing orcs, flying starships, solving puzzles, sneaking past certain death, and that sort of thing. Many newer gamers want to explore the human condition, gaze at belly buttons, and do non-adventurous stuff that doesn't appeal to me. Between work, kids, grandkids, a new puppy, ooh, fun, and other stuff, I only have a few blocks of time to squander rather than 5 minutes here and there, so I stick with what is most likely to be entertaining. Holy straw man? What? I mean, like, exploring the human condition, I guess some topics about that, like, show up in my games, depending on, like, what we're doing. But, like, that's not, I wouldn't say that's the primary focus. Gaze at belly buttons? Well, I guess my first D&D adventure I had with, like, this one group had, you know what, maybe I shouldn't say that. But, like, I don't know, this just feels very, I don't know anyone who does this, where that's what that's like their primary goal and what they're wanting to do, rather than just being as a sub part of the whole. Many newer games want to explore, would say newer games? Oh, games. Many newer games want to explore the human condition, gaze at belly buttons, you know, yeah. Show me those. That's what I'm saying, show me! Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast is an example, but not in a disparaging way. It's a delightful game, but I think it's the first departure I've had from D&D that I've ever played. Okay, I did some looking up on it. I don't know exactly how it plays, but it just feels like it's just a different kind of RPG game. I don't know a lot of games that are like that, like at least the ones that people are really talking about aren't like that, so I guess maybe it's not like a full straw man, but it's just, I don't know, man. This feels really out of touch, or like all these youngins would rather speak about their feelings and bake bread than raid some monastery with cold hard steel in their hands. AI. Even the shittiest art is better than showing me the latest Dolly remix. True! Over-reliance on random tables. I mean, like, define what you mean by over-reliance, but, like, I think, sure, yeah, you can always go overboard on any good idea or, like, good thing, so I just don't believe this is content. A third of the pages of my gorgeous premium Kickstarter copy of Shadow Dark is just tables. If I wanted to make stuff up on the spot, I would just make up stuff on the spot. True! As for AI, like, do I even need to say anything on that? Like, yeah, just make the game yourself, bro. And as for the art part, like, it looks so bad. It looks so bad. Maybe some things turn out fine, but I don't believe that any AI image, not art, image, looks good. And also, even like doing your little scribbles and quote-unquote bad drawings, it adds a lot of charm to the game. I guess, depending on like the theme and idea of the games, maybe it doesn't fit in well, but like, I mean, maybe making a game based on like your random scribbles would also be fun to do. Agreed on AI, disagree on tables. Tables can be really helpful if you're stuck and need a new idea fast, or if you just want to see what fate has in store for your party. Plus, it generally doesn't replace anything, it's more of a bonus in most books. Though it's really a moot point considering it's your opinion, I doubt you're on a crusade to rid the world of random tables. I have a PDF of Shadow Dark. I haven't looked at it in a while, though. I should probably go through that to see just like how many tables there are and stuff. Because, like, I don't know if it's an overabundance, as they say. No PDF option or only PDF with physical book. This isn't something that I a lot about earlier. No, yeah, I could imagine this actually, yeah, because most of the things that I have right now are just PDF. And also for referencing a material, sometimes it's easier to just do that through the PDF, so having a PDF option, and especially a PDF only option, I can imagine being important for someone. Sometimes you just don't want the physical book or that space, and also the physical book will probably be more expensive too, so that might be a reason why you want just the PDF. I say probably, like it just is. It needs to be a good PDF. If your PDF isn't like indexed or has a table of content where I can search stuff up on the side or have like links in it, please do that. I'm the opposite. If I can't get a physical book in my hands, I can't play your game. Options are important. Yep. Just the more options, the better, I think is what we're getting from this. Same, I want to be able to reach a rulebook cover to cover physically before I run it. Hi, it's our seal, just for a little intermission. Since we're about at the halfway point of the video, ish, I would hope that you like it, so you could do me the honors of perhaps liking and subscribing. That would be so awesome sauce of you. Anyhow, back to the video. When the writing style gets a little too informal, something like that. I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, but I prefer my rules text to be pretty clear, straightforward, and largely self-contained. If you want to be funny or lampshade/reference something, do it in flavor text or character dialogue, not in the rules themselves. 13th Age is an example that dips into this a little more than I would like, even though I still largely like the system. Dungeon World's scattershot quotes and references also kind of bug me. It's a hard line to walk between being informative without being dry, and I totally get that if this is just one of my own little neuroses? Neurosis in non-technical use is excessive and irrational anxiety or obsession. New word learned. As for the actual comment, I get that, yeah. Because, I mean, if I'm looking through the rulebook, I want it to be informative and laid out for me so I can, well, either learn the rules or reference it more properly. I don't know if any of the games that I looked through exactly have to deal with this. I haven't looked at 13th Age, I haven't looked at Dungeon World. Maybe VTM does a little bit of it. But like they have more of that flavor text and like offhand stuff too, so it might be more there than in the actual rules text. The level of editorializing has definitely gone up in more modern games. It's like they want to curate the experience of even reading the rules, but to me that verbiage is read once, then never useful again, because the rulebook is ultimately a reference tool. Yeah, this isn't something that I've heard about before as like a problem in your books. As the other person said, this seems to be more of a thing in newer games. So like if any of you have read books where you've come across this sort of issue, I guess, I'd like to hear about it because this is very new to me. Cozy themes and slice-of-life RPGs. I don't mind a scene here or there, but a whole game of it sounds awful. Yeah, those are nice as little one-shots or something from a $10 RPG pamphlet, but a whole campaign? No thank you. Obviously, preferences. I don't have any games. I haven't really looked into fighting games like this. I could see it being nice every now and then though. But yeah, probably not like a whole campaign. That might have to do more so of just like having other responsibilities and things I have to do, so I have to make sure the little amount of time I have is used on like the things I really like rather than just, oh yeah, this is nice. Improv heavy gameplay. Maybe I'd like it as a player, but I know none of the tables I've ever played at can handle the responsibility of open-ended group storytelling. This might be a group thing? What do I mean by improv heavy gameplay? Because isn't that part of the whole point of RPGs? Am I missing something? They mention group storytelling at the end, so I'm wondering if this is about the games where like the players have some sort of meta currency that they can use to alter game states in the story. And that might be what they're talking about, which I guess I can get a little more. This game is dark and gritty and so extremely realistic that you will die if a cow looks at you funny, and you can tell because the only colors in our palette are black, red, and mud brown, and you lost me. Yeah, no, that's fair. Seems like the type of game that you would find a lot of edgelords playing. Fatal exists, right? So there's that. It wouldn't surprise me if this person maybe is referencing VTM, in which case I would say it's not very like that, but I know a lot of people that think of it that way. When it is claimed as universal, freeform, and amazing, and you look inside and it's like, roll a die, even equals fail, odd equals success, and if you have the correct background, you can re-roll. It is easy to call your RPG universal when there are almost no rules and you have to improvise. See, like basic roleplay is a really good universal system because they just have a lot of systems that you can implement into like your own kind of style or fashion, or like not use if it doesn't fit the vibe or what you're going for. But when it comes to universal systems, I more so look at not necessarily like universal for any game, but like open-ended and freeform for genres instead. When the mechanic names get too cutesy, I prefer not to have my bread and butter sword attack be called "You killed my father, prepare to die," if it's all the same to you. Okay. One of my favorite games MOTW? Okay, I think that's Monster of the Week. Has a basic move called Kick Some Ass, and that's about my limit. Okay, fair enough. You know, if they have a certain theme they're going for, it could make sense to sort of play into that. But I can understand why, like, having a basic thing that you're doing all the time, getting called Kick Some Ass, might be a little tiresome after the first few times. You killed my father, prepare to die. Please tell me this is for real. If so, what game? I'm obviously the exact opposite, which is fine, no drama, but I really, really want to know if this is real. I'm the audience for that game. I'm not even the audience for that game. I really want to know if that's an actual thing. I believe that's the name of a power in DCDM's Draw Steel. They were all like that too. You should be well served. Okay. Not really an EU no thing, but bad organization. I feel like that goes for a lot more than just TTRPGs, bestie. RPGs aren't hard to learn necessarily, but generally take time to get the rules down and get used to. I don't need poor formatting and bad onboarding slowing that down even further. So true. The RuneQuest role-playing in Glorantha core rulebook, the organization, that thing, rough. The table of contents doesn't help either. Great game, in my opinion, great setting, but like, trying to reference that book. Can the game be played with one core rulebook? I'm so tired of one book for players, one for game masters. Give me one book with all the mechanics and enough of the setting to get a good feel. I think that's really fair, especially when money's tight. Just only having to buy one book that everyone can use would definitely be a lot better, especially for getting other people on board for playing it too. I can understand with like needing more than one book to have all the rules conveyed if you're definitely a crunchier game. It might also be a thing of like conciseness of rules, getting more information across and less, or not having a bloated system so that it can be fit into one rulebook. Obviously, this doesn't apply for every game that has more than one core rulebook, but it could also be a problem. Crunch. I'm too old to waste my precious gaming time on overly crunchy rule sets. He doesn't get it. He doesn't see the vision. This is so tragic. Graphic design. I feel myself wildly influenced by the aesthetics of a TTRPG and easily hooked by graphics that I can vibe with. I assume Mothership or the Morkborg games are popular for very good reasons, but I simply cannot get past their layouts and designs. I mean, if you're having graphics in your TTRPG book, you're probably gonna want it to fit the aesthetics and sort of vibe you're going for the game rules. It's not that important for me because I get a lot of the vibes just from the rules. It's like I see the graphics and all that once, and I guess for referencing. But it's not part of the game per se for me. For any visual media, which this kind of is. Yeah, that could definitely be very important for some people. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you have your own particular turnoffs having to deal with RPGs, I would love to hear about them in the comments. Also, I have a whole list of various Reddit threads that I was going to do for these videos, all from the RPG subreddit, and the more I go through these, the more I realize that some of the people in these threads are maybe a little bit insufferable. So with that being said, I tried to not do RPG horror stories on purpose, but if that's a thing that you think might be interesting for me to also do every now and then, or if you have any other particular forums that would be cool for me to look at and read through maybe, I would love to hear about that as well. Anyhow, that's all for this video, so bye bye!